What are you exceptionally good at, but hate doing? Part 2. Cleaning or organizing for keepers, like pre-hoarders. My sister had this problem particularly bad, and every few years I totally redo her room and make it beautiful. Last time I did this, apparently, she literally fell on the ground and started crying. My mom thought she was upset at first, but it was just extreme relief and clarity, having all her things laid out nicely and easily accessible and visible without extra clutter. And I used rubber cement to stick black tissue paper against one of her walls. It's really easy to take down and does not damage, and honestly, it looked really cool. It made the room feel way bigger. But I'm a keeper and I cannot keep my office clean and organized. Please, tell me more about this keeper business. Is that your own term, or where did you learn it? I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere. It's just when you have a hard time getting rid of things and they pile up really quickly, but in a problematic way. Almost hoarding. My big problem is I keep anything that reminds me of something that needs to be done. I'm afraid if I throw it out, I'll forget. It's a deeply flawed system because it builds up so quickly, and I can't tackle everything at once, so the majority of chores end up being delayed or not done anyway. For my sister, it's anything with sentimental value. She would keep even little broken figurines if they came from someone she cared about, even if they were fished out of the waste bin. Drawing and painting. I have always been a pretty good artist ever since I was a young kid. When I got to college, I realized I hated it and almost never do it anymore. I'm pretty good at acrylic painting, but it takes so much time and it's so boring. Another thing is washing the stuff you use for it and tidying up everything. Just annoying. Everybody wants me to continue painting, but I just completely lost my interest in it. Disappointing my parents. That's why I make sure my parents' expectations are so low that they can actually say they're proud of me sooner or later. It's not that low yet, but hopefully soon. Fun fact, one of my minor superpowers is that I'm only good at things I don't particularly enjoy doing. Maybe because if you dislike doing something, you'll put in effort to do it right the first time, so you don't have to repeat it? You could be right. I usually go into it with a, let's just get this over with kind of attitude. I'm not one for procrastination and despise having to do rework. I am good with animals and kids, but the weird looks made me hate children and animals started to annoy me like a year back. What do you mean by weird looks? I always used to play tag with my cousins who were 10 and younger when I was like 14, and my family is really judgmental. Being a nerdy, obedient kid for my parents. Asian here. So when you play choice video games, do you do the good guy by default, or can you do bad guy playthroughs? It is really hard to say, but I still tend to do the good guy, because in a long term I've gradually internalized some Eastern values, such as importance of academic achievement, dependence on family, etc., and it has become how I think about things now. So even if I got choices, I may still think according to the values and make the same choices. But seriously, every time I see how you Western guys having fun, partying crazily, sometimes it hurts me a little bit, because I do wish I had a happier life with more freedom for myself, instead of just staying at home to obey my parents and work on these stupid math questions. Baking. It's the portioning that I run out of patience with. You use one measuring cup and you gotta wash the whole set because they're attached. Programming Crestron control systems. Sorry for the ignorance, but I don't know what Crestron is, and I'm curious. Could you explain? There are two major players in the audio-video control system world. They make the central processor, touch panel, and various audio-video distribution equipment, used in both home automation and corporate video conferencing. Each uses their own proprietary programming language. AMX uses what would be considered a traditional language, similar to JavaScript, C++, etc. You type out functions, variables, multi-dimensional arrays, and can perform mathematical operations. Crestron uses a graphical wizard interface, which has no analog I can think of. At the end of the day, both AMX and Crestron do the same thing, send on and off commands to TVs, make audio calls, adjust the room temperature. For small-scale systems with basic features, I can write code equally fast and with identical results in both. As the size or complexity scales, or worse, the client changes the requirements in the 11th hour, the two languages are anything but equal. A basic 8-person video conference room, or a standard home theater, I can program in either in about the same amount of time. Doing a large-scale multi-room conference center or a whole home automation, the time and stress levels are very different. Taking charge or being in control, both at work and at home. I am confident, calm, and can usually handle anything. However, everyone always turns to you because of it, and it would be nice if I didn't have to all the time. Same, I always take on the leadership role for projects, but somehow my enthusiasm for said project translates to, I'll do all the work while everyone sits back and takes credit. Treating sick and injured cats because I get too emotionally attached to the cases. Talking to people and strangers. I come off as outgoing, confident, and friendly, and I get along with people. But I have social anxiety and I'm screaming in agony internally the entire time. Kind of contradictory. I feel the same. It's like being an introverted extrovert. Staying alive. I'm on the opposite side. Love doing it, very bad at it. Washing dishes. I was going to say, that's not that hard, and then remembered how some people's washed dishes look. This'll get buried, but I have a 1 in a million singing voice for light opera and comic musicals. I'm a huge fan of classical and opera, especially late romantic and early modern, but I hate most musicals. But hey, if society collapses and you need someone to do Pirates of Penzance over the campfire for the kids, I guess I'll indulge. I love writing. In fact, I'm an avid writer. My friends read my stuff and tell me I need to stop calling it trash because that's the kind of writer I am. But when I'm told I need to write an essay about something I couldn't care about, nope, I hate writing. Managing people. I'm a software engineer that has been assigned to work with a number of adjacent coworkers on large projects. I always found myself thinking, if nobody is going to do it, I might as well. Working with devs is mostly awful, and I have declined the opportunity to become a lead and do it full-time. I'm sticking to the senior developer track. Apologies, but I'm pretty sure it's not good management to take over a job yourself if someone isn't doing it correctly. Most definitely. This is among the reasons why I'm not a manager. Everything. As the proverbial jack of all trades, my river of knowledge is extremely wide, though not very deep. So if there's something that seems just above the average person's pay grade, but not complicated enough to warrant paying a professional a lot of money to do, they call me. I build web pages as my job, but I'm apparently also a plumber, electrician, construction worker, accountant, clothing tailor, chef, car repairman, appliance repairman, AV guy, musician, photographer, videographer, graphic designer, and all-around troubleshooter for seemingly any problem. It can get a little exhausting being everything to everyone. I'm right there with you. I can do minor repairs, and I feel like I'm semi-smart on almost anything. But when asked why or how most of the time, I just crash like a Windows 98 computer. Graphic design. I spent years doing it for fun, went to college for 2 years for a degree, and now I want nothing to do with it. Working for other people is a nightmare. Can relate as an ex-graphic designer. Commercial graphic design for clients can really take the joy out of the process. Love doing it in school though. Yep, I loved it in school and now it feels soul-sucking a lot of the time. It's really hard to find satisfaction in your job when clients are paying so they get the final say in everything. Making sandwiches very fast and neatly. I get complimented on it all the time and get called a sandwich artist. What a lot of people don't know is that I'm an actual artist, with an advanced art degree and everything. Teaching. Hate is a strong word. It's more like I'm qualified to do it, and I studied for it, and I even got licensed for it. The thought of actually doing it for a living is just not me. It's a job that, in my view, demands authenticity, and it's inauthentic for me. The education itself I don't regret, but it was unwise of my younger self to pursue it. I felt trapped, and it seemed a safe way out. It wasn't. What do you do for a living now? Well, right now I'm not doing much because I'm out of work due to the crisis. I'm not comfortable specifying, but it's an essential job. Cooking. I cook quite well, at least that's what my friends tell me. However, I often cannot manage the time it takes to cook. I hate the time but love the cooking part itself. I cook for myself. Screw everybody else. Why should they sample the heavenly dishes? Drawing. I used to love drawing when I was younger. Aced all my art classes all through school, but over the years, I've all but completely lost interest. People always told me I should pursue a career in art, but honestly, if I had to draw for a living, I'd hate doing it even more than I already do. It's frustrating that people act like if you have talent, you're obligated to do something with it. Being bad at stuff. Customer support? I was very good at it, but now I'm so happy I don't do that anymore. Once a year, I still come back to it if they have training or something to help out. It just reminds me how lucky I am not having to do that anymore. Writing. I'm constantly told I have a way with words, but I have no idea what people are talking about. At work, I'm tasked with sending out clarifying emails or asked when I'm going to publish an article. During college, I was once told to write a review article for another colleague just because I'm good at writing. An entire scientific review article on a topic I'd only been recently introduced to at that time. If I participate in any projects, guess who's automatically tasked with the write-up? I dislike writing. I think it takes me longer to write than most because I think I'm horrible at it. It makes me anxious, to be honest. It took me 20 minutes just to press send on this. I feel you. My workplace found out I write fast and well, better than anyone else, especially in English. Virtually all our usable documentation is by guess who. I have been writing as a hobby since I was 12. Increasingly, the stress isn't worth it. I get so worried my stuff is crap. All my writing is worthless. I've written so much and will never do anything sensible with it because, frankly, at this point I'm terrified it actually might be good and people may want me to write more. Screw that. I'm retesting our staging routine again and looking at cat pics.